I want you to just take a second and imagine that you are walking into your bathroom and, opening up your medicine cabinet.
Oh, yeah, that is a very familiar visual for, well, almost everybody.
Right, exactly. And go ahead and really picture it. Look past the toothpaste and the floss that you swear you're going to use way more often.
The floss you use maybe twice a year right before the dentist.
Yes, exactly. But look at that one specific shelf. You know the exact one I mean. It's basically this quiet graveyard of good intentions.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Just a complete graveyard.
Yeah, you've got the half-finished bottles of vitamins. You've got that plastic 7-day pill organizer with the little snap lids.
Oh, the one you bought with such fierce optimism.
Right. And its lid is literally caked with dust right now. And, tucked in the back, there are those 3 specialty supplements you bought right after listening to some interview with the health guru, right?
And use them for exactly 3 weeks and then completely abandon them.
Completely. And when you look at that shelf, the immediate instinct is usually this very sharp, distinct flicker of guilt.
It really is. The internal monologue is almost universal.
Yeah.
It's like, I failed again. I don't have the discipline to stick with the routine.
Yeah, you assume that this graveyard in your cabinet is undeniable proof of a fundamental personal failing.
And that is exactly how it feels for most people. The unspoken verdict from the supplement industry has always been that if the bottle ends up forgotten, well, you just didn't try hard enough.
But, the mission of our deep dive today is to completely flip that narrative on its head. We really want to show why that isn't true.
Exactly. Because it's a completely unfair standard.
Right. And to do this, we are pulling from a really fascinating stack of sources today. We are looking at a massive retrospective PubMed study on patient adherence, a 2024 systematic review on pill burdens.
Which is incredibly insightful, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, we've got some recent behavioral science journals focused on habit formation and some brilliant literature on user experience design.
And synthesizing all of that research points to one really glaring conclusion. Your abandoned supplements are not a willpower problem.
Not at all.
They are a design problem.
Yeah.
I mean, for decades, the industry has been telling a story where the burden of getting results rests entirely on your shoulders.
Right. The narrative has always been, buy the right ingredient in the right form, and then the rest is entirely up to your discipline.
But the evidence tells us that most supplements simply were not built to fit into real life in the first place.
This idea of them not being built for real life is so fascinating to me because it implies they were built for, a totally different kind of existence.
They really were.
Looking at the user experience literature we're working from, it seems like these products are designed for an imaginary person, someone who simply does not exist.
Picture the person that your typical, complicated regimen assumes you are. This person is incredibly calm.
So calm.
They are completely unhurried. They sit down at the exact same time every single morning at a sunlit kitchen island.
Oh, with a nice breeze coming through the window. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have a tall, beautiful glass of water. They have absolutely nothing else on their mind.
And not a single stressor in the world.
Right. And they are perfectly happy to carefully count out a small handful of capsules, swallow them serenely, and then float into a well-ordered, perfectly managed day.
I am laughing because that sounds like a pharmaceutical commercial, not an actual human existence.
It really does. Because they gladly do a second round at lunch, a third at dinner, and they refill that pill organizer every Sunday afternoon without fail.
The real you, the person listening right now, you are probably in a car full of screaming kids. You are answering an urgent text at a red light.
So you probably shouldn't be doing, but yeah.
Right, but it happens. Or you are grabbing a bagel because you are suddenly starving and the day has already completely gotten away from you.
Yeah, maybe you skipped breakfast entirely. Or, you ate it standing up over the kitchen sink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that noon dose. You forgot that somewhere in the chaotic blur between 2 back-to-back meetings.
And to top it all off, the bottle you meant to reorder ran out 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And you just haven't had the time to go online and buy it again.
The contrast is just so stark.
It is. And it reveals a fundamental rule of behavioral design. A regimen that demands a perfect life will always, eventually, lose to an imperfect one.
It is inevitable. You didn't fail the supplement. The supplement was a fundamentally flawed tool for the reality of your daily life.
Right.
It's like trying to maintain a perfectly manicured, pristine golf course lawn in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane.
That is a great analogy.
I mean, if we look at our modern environment, it's quietly engineered to make the unhealthy choice the absolute easiest one at every single turn.
It really is. The drive-thru is infinitely faster than cooking in your kitchen.
Always. The vending machine is always closer than a farmer's market. The default option usually works against you.
So the environment is actively rigged against your health goals.
Right.
And when your health routine asks you to perform this flawless daily ritual on top of all the other chaos, it is not asking for a small favor.
No, not at all.
It is asking you to win a fight that the environment is specifically designed to make you lose.
So if the environment is already rigged and we are losing the fight, what is actually happening in our brains when we stare at that pill bottle and decide to just walk away?
That's the real question, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't think people wake up one day and dramatically declare, I am done with vitamins forever. It feels way more insidious than that.
It is. And the industry rarely admits this, but the reason people quit a health routine is almost never a sudden, dramatic loss of motivation.
Okay, so what is it then?
It is the slow, quiet accumulation of friction. When we break down the actual physical and mental checklist required for a traditional supplement regimen, the burden is actually staggering.
Let's actually look at that checklist because the sources lay this out so clearly. First, you have to remember which bottles to take.
Yep, that's step one.
Then you have to remember when to take them. Then you have to physically open them and count out the capsules.
Right, and make sure you get the right number.
Exactly. Then you have to find a clean glass. You have to get water. You have to tip your head back and get the big chalky pills down without gagging.
Which is a whole ordeal in itself.
Right. Then you have to remember to do it all over again at lunch, maybe with an entirely different set of bottles.
And then you have to refill the organizer on Sunday. And track your inventory and reorder before you run out.
It's exhausting just saying it out loud.
Exactly. No single one of those steps is impossible or even particularly difficult by itself.
Right. Opening a bottle isn't hard.
But when you stack them together every single day against a life that is already full to the brim, the friction becomes too great.
The system just buckles.
The routine falls apart. And the clinical data supports this entirely.
I was actually looking at that massive retrospective PubMed study we have in the notes, the one tracking nearly 1,000 patients.
Yes, that one is fascinating.
It absolutely blew my mind that simply reducing the physical steps, like just lightening the physical burden of the routine, led to a massive, sustained improvement in adherence over a 3-year period.
Incredible.
You'd think people struggling to take their health products needed, I don't know, a life coach or an intervention, but they literally just needed fewer bottles to open.
The biggest gains in that 3-year study were seen in the people who had been struggling the most. The ones carrying the heaviest, what they call pill load.
Pill load, I like that term.
Yeah, and that is not an isolated finding at all. A 2024 systematic review of patients carrying heavy medication loads pointed in the exact same direction.
Oh, I read that one too.
The authors of that review noted some, mixed elements in the specific types of interventions, but the overall pattern across the literature was highly consistent.
Which was what?
A heavier daily pill burden is directly associated with poorer adherence, period.
So when a routine demands less conscious effort, people follow it.
Exactly. When it piles on the friction, people drift away.
I want to unpack one specific point of friction that the sources highlight because I think a lot of people listening will instantly relate to this.
The physical act of swallowing the pills.
Yes. The research shows that the sheer physical difficulty of getting capsules down is a major barrier for so many people.
It really is. It's apparently so common that clinicians will routinely crush tablets or open up capsules for patients who are struggling to swallow them.
Wait, really? Clinicians actually do that?
Yes, but the medical literature warns it is an incredibly risky workaround.
Why is it risky?
Because crushing a tablet or opening a capsule alters the physical format of the supplement, which can completely change the dose you're actually receiving.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and it can also change how the ingredient behaves in your digestive tract. Many of these products are formulated with specific coatings to survive stomach acid or to release slowly over time.
So when you crush them, you just destroy that mechanism.
Exactly. But people are so desperate to avoid the physical discomfort of swallowing a fistful of capsules that they resort to it anyway.
That is wild.
For a massive number of people, the physical act of swallowing is the sole reason that bottle ends up pushed to the back of the shelf.
It's like You know when you're working on your computer and you just open way too many tabs on your web browser?
Oh, all the time.
Right. You've got one tab open for the morning vitamins, another tab for finding the water, a third tab mentally preparing to gag on a horse pill.
A fourth tab reminding yourself to reorder on Sunday.
Yes. Eventually, your brain's RAM just maxes out and crashes. The whole system freezes. You close all the tabs and just say, forget it.
That is a very accurate way to visualize it. It requires constant conscious effort, and willpower and motivation are finite resources that get depleted by all those open tabs.
So if we know that complicated routines fail because they rely on depletable conscious effort, the question becomes, how do we actually build a routine that survives?
How do we fix the browser so it stops crashing in the middle of a chaotic Tuesday?
Exactly. How do we do that?
We turn to the behavioral science of habit formation. The science is refreshingly clear on this point.
Okay, I'm ready.
Lasting habits are not built on motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and human feelings are notoriously unreliable.
Tell me about it.
Lasting habits are built on repetition in a stable context.
A stable context. So the environment around the habit has to stay the same every time you do it.
Exactly. A true habit is a behavior that is triggered automatically by a cue that you encounter every single day.
So it's cue dependent.
Yes, it is efficient.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it operates largely without conscious effort.
Which means no browser crashing.
Right. Experimental work confirms this mechanism over and over again. When people repeat an action in the exact same setting, they build neural cue response associations in their memory.
Wow, okay.
And after a while, those associations fire automatically the moment that context appears. No willpower is required at all.
Our sources actually highlight a really specific randomized trial that looked at everyday nutrition behaviors to see how long this actually takes.
Right, because everyone always hears that persistent myth that it takes 21 days to build a habit.
Exactly, the 21-day myth. But this trial found that when people anchored a new behavior to an existing daily routine and just repeated it, that feeling of automaticity, doing it without thinking, didn't peak at 21 days.
No, it took much longer.
It reached its peak at a median of about 59 days.
A full 2 months of repetition.
Yeah, 2 whole months.
And the most crucial finding from that study wasn't the timeline, but the predictor of success.
Right.
The key predictor of whether someone stuck with the behavior wasn't how much they wanted it or how motivated they felt. The key predictor was repeated enactment in the same context.
So in plain terms, if you want to make something stick, you have to tie it to something you already do every single day without thinking.
Yes. So instead of trying to invent a brand new habit out of thin air, like deciding, I am now a person who takes 8 capsules at 10:15 a.m. every day with a special glass of water.
Which is just setting yourself up to fail.
Exactly. You just hijack an existing behavior and piggyback on something that is already happening.
And if we look at human biology and daily life, there is one cue that reigns supreme above all others.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost nothing in your life is more reliably repeated in a more stable context than eating.
We eat every day.
We do.
Hopefully a few times a day.
That single insight reframes the entire problem of the supplement graveyard in the bathroom cabinet.
How so?
Well, a supplement routine that floats on its own, one that depends on your memory, your motivation, and this separate, isolated ritual of finding a glass of water, is actively fighting the neurological way human habits are built.
Right, it's just floating out there.
But a supplement that is folded into a meal you were going to eat anyway, that borrows a cue that already exists.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
One approach asks for a discipline you have to magically summon out of nowhere. The other approach just asks for a behavior your day already contains.
I see the logic, I really do. But physically, if I have a giant, chalky horse pill of a vitamin, I can't exactly fold that into my morning oatmeal.
Right, no one wants to crunch on a multivitamin tablet in their cereal.
No. Which means the physical design of the product itself has to fundamentally change to match this behavioral science, right?
This is the exact pivot to what the industry calls food-first design.
Food-first design.
Yeah. Once you accept that the failure is in the design of the product and not in the willpower of the person, the path forward completely changes.
Because the industry's usual answer to, I keep forgetting my pills, is to try to sell you a more elaborate plastic pill organizer.
Or an app that aggressively pings your phone with reminders.
Ugh, the worst.
But if the physical burden of the pills is what makes people quit, then removing that burden is the entire job.
They have to stop designing for a pristine laboratory and start designing for a regular, messy kitchen.
Exactly. Where the ingredient allows for it, this shift means moving away from capsules entirely.
So what does that look like?
It means creating a powder that you can simply stir directly into your food. By doing that, you are physically borrowing the one daily cue, the meal, that behavioral science says habits are built on.
You integrate the support into the food itself rather than demanding a separate, difficult ritual.
Precisely.
That actually makes me think about how other industries have tackled this exact same problem of user friction.
Oh yeah, like what?
Think about the household thermostat. For decades, the thermostat was this incredibly fussy, miserable little control panel on your wall.
Oh, those terrible stiff buttons.
Yes. And impossible programming logic. Everyone hated dealing with it. You practically needed an engineering degree to set the temperature for Tuesday morning.
It was a nightmare.
And then the Nest thermostat came along. It took this complicated chore and made it totally intuitive.
It learned your habits instead of forcing you to learn its programming.
Exactly, it just worked. And the literature points out that nutrition is long overdue for this exact same user experience rescue. Fewer steps, simpler routines.
The Nest thermostat didn't ask you to become an HVAC expert. It adapted to you. A well-designed food-first supplement should do the exact same thing.
Right.
It should feel like part of a meal, not like a medical event. It expects you to be human.
Wait, hold on. I need to push back on this concept for just a second.
Sure, go ahead.
If the solution is just stirring vitamin powder into my food because it's easier, does that give me a free pass to eat a plate of highly processed garbage as long as I sprinkle the magic healthy dust on top of my French fries?
That is a crucial caveat, and the sources are very clear on making this distinction.
Okay, good.
The core concept is real food first. Supplements were only ever meant to support a foundation of whole, real food.
Right.
They were never designed to replace it. For too long, the capsule format actually worked against that idea.
How did it work against it?
It turned nourishment into a pharmacy transaction. It visually and psychologically separated the health pills from the actual meal, as though the two things had absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Oh, I see. It creates this really weird psychological divide. Like, here is the bad food I eat for fun, and here are the medical pills I take in the bathroom to try and fix it.
Exactly. A food-first format physically puts the nutritional support back on the exact same side as the food, where it belongs.
That is a brilliant way to frame it.
And that matters for behavioral cues, but it also matters for self-honesty. A supplement is not a license to eat poorly and try to, make up for it with targeted powders.
It is a way to support real meals more intelligently.
Yes. When the format itself reinforces that order, saying food first, targeted support second, it stops asking you to treat caring for yourself as something that is separate from, or in competition with, simply eating well.
It integrates health into your life rather than making health a part-time job you have to commute to.
That is perfectly said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's bring all these sources and data points back together for you listening.
Let's do it.
If you take one massive idea away from our exploration today, it is this. The absolute best, most scientifically advanced, most expensive nutritional formula on planet Earth is completely worthless if it is sitting in a dusty organizer in your bathroom cabinet.
Worthless.
The failure isn't you. It is not your discipline. It is not your lack of motivation. It is a fundamental mismatch in design. You have been asked to fit your imperfect, chaotic, real life into a perfect, inflexible, imaginary routine.
And the only way to build actual lasting consistency is to make the routine light enough to survive that chaotic Tuesday.
Right. Fewer steps.
Less friction, less to choke down, and a format that naturally anchors itself to a meal you're going to eat anyway, built on a foundation of real food.
People keep going with routines like that, not because they suddenly found a deep well of willpower, but because there was never much willpower required in the first place.
Exactly. You just remove the friction.
And that leaves me with one final thought for you to ponder, something that stretches a bit beyond just vitamins and supplements.
What is it?
If that graveyard of good intentions in your medicine cabinet was really just a design flaw this whole time, what other areas of your life are you currently blaming on a lack of willpower?
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
Think about your workout routine or your monthly budgeting, your time management. Are you beating yourself up for being lazy when you really just need a better, lower friction design? Next time you see dust gathering on something you swore you'd use, maybe don't blame yourself. Blame the friction.